Hi there everyone, it's Gloria Kremer from Oakville, Canada, and today, sorry, my Roomba decided to start talking for some reason. So today we're going to make this Bendi card. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it stands up, and it's sort of, there's a area in the back for you to write whatever you need, and it sort of just stands up like this on a desk. So just imagine this is a desk and it's standing there. It looks really pretty. So it looks like a pot of flowers. So let's get started. This is part of my May 9th All About Flowers card kit. When you get my card kits, everything is pre-cut, pre-scored for you, so you don't have to worry about measuring anything. You just have to stamp your sentiments, put it together, do some coloring. So let's get started. I'm not gonna give you the dimensions in the video, but I will post it in the description area for you. So we have a piece of DSP. This is from the Forever Fern suite. And what you can do, now I specifically did not score the card, because what I did for my first one was I went and glued the pieces down first, and then I scored it down the middle. And let me pull out my trimmer here, and then I got to thinking that if you wanted to score it down the middle, so at 4 1/4 down the middle would be 2 1/8. So we're gonna just score that first. Hopefully you can still see it. So I just scored it down the middle at 2 1/8. So if you have this at home, that's probably what you're gonna wanna do, is score it down the middle, or you could just fold it in half. Now the other thing I got to thinking was, what happens, and of course this is after I made all the kits, so then I thought, well, what if I were to cut this piece in half? So we'll cut it in half. This one measures 4 inches across, and we're gonna cut it in half, and then I'm gonna shave off 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna shave off 1/8 of an inch on each piece, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. And that way we're gonna have 2 separate pieces on the back of each of these, on the back of the card. So you can do that if you want, but you also don't have to. So if you don't want to do that, just leave it as it is, and then just fold it down the middle. I'm just showing you a slightly different way. So I'm cutting this down the middle at 2 inches, and then I'm shaving off 1/8 of an inch. Now this is not how it comes in the kit. You're just gonna have the full piece. This was sort of like an afterthought for me, so I thought I would mention it. But like I said, if you want to just make it the way I did in my first card for my sample, then all you do is you're gonna glue down the front piece, the DSP. You're gonna glue down the back piece, and then you're gonna glue these down. So let's just glue these down. I'm using my big tape runner just to sort of speed things along here. It is a Wednesday night. I don't normally do my videos at night, but I figured the dogs are calm, So hopefully there won't be any barking in the background. I don't know if you've noticed in any of my videos, but I have this weird little pinky on my left hand that sort of just does its own thing, and my kids were pointing it out to me. They're like, Mom, look how funky your pinky is. And it does. It sort of just does its own thing. I broke it a few years ago in a boating incident, and I didn't realize it was broken, and by the time I saw a doctor, it was a little too late to do anything about it. So I just sort of live with it. Let it do its own thing. Okay, and now we're going to put the white pieces on the back of the card. So you'll be able to see the difference, the two different ways we do this. So with this one, we just laid it up on top, and on these ones, we just trimmed off a little bit on each piece. And if you hear groaning or moaning in the background, that's usually my dogs that are doing that. My little one does make some pretty unusual noises sometimes. Okay, then our next piece is going to be this one here. And I like to use my tear tape. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab some tear tape for the ends of these two pieces here. Dog hair on everything. I have this bowl in my kitchen that says everything tastes better with cat hair, and that's because I used to always have a cat until I got married and realized my husband and my kids were allergic, and now I need a new bowl or a new mug or something that says the same thing, because there is dog hair on everything, like everything. And the crazy thing is I have one of those. One of my dogs is a golden doodle, so he doesn't really shed, but the other one is a German Shepherd, Aussie Shepherd mix, and he sheds enough for like 5 dogs. It's crazy. Okay, so now we have this. We've put adhesive on both ends. We're going to lay it flat, and then we're going to fold in the sides here, and then just bring it right to the bottom. Hopefully you can see this. Bring it right to the bottom, and we're just going to press it down. Just like that. So when we send this card, it's going to go flat. So when you mail this card, it goes flat, but as soon as they take it out, it sort of pops up and it stands on its own. So that's the same thing with this. This will just stand up on its own like that. Next, we're going to put these two pieces on here. I have like my fake wood background here. I'm sure I'm not fooling anyone. So we're going to take our two wood grain pieces. And we're just going to glue those down. So we're just going to glue it down like that. It's the great thing about the Tombow glue. It sort of gives you a little bit of time to move it if you need to shift it a little. Now again, we're going to use some tear tape and we're going to put it along the edge. I'm going to use this tear tape here because it's a little thinner. I got this off Amazon. This is 1/8 of an inch tear tape, so works really well. Okay, so now we're going to fold in the pieces. And we're going to do a mountain fold here as well. So all three of these are going to do like a mountain fold. And this will make it a little easier. Okay, now for this piece, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it pretty close to the bottom of where the first piece is. And we're going to line up the score lines. So hopefully you can see that in the video. Maybe we'll zoom it in just a little bit. Oops. So if you can see, the score line lines up with the score line on the card base. So we have that lined up. I'll give it a little press. So just to check, we're good. Let's throw on our bow. I like using glue dots for bows, and I have a Paper Pumpkin subscription, so I always have a lot of extra glue dots, which are perfect for cards, for adding your bow to your card. And then next you would stamp your sentiment on your card. I don't really know what sentiment I want to use. Let's see if I wonder if Happy Birthday will fit. Let's see if Happy Birthday will fit on there. Will that fit? I think it might. Okay, well, let's just try it anyways. So I don't know if this is gonna really fit, but we're gonna try it anyways. I'm gonna use this new color, Soft Succulent. It's the new in color this year, available on May the 4th. So let's stamp that on. Now this sentiment piece is part of the Pansy Patch bundle. So that die is from that set. Okay. So then we would add our sentiment right there. And we'll add a couple of dimensionals to that. Now the flowers that we're using for this card is actually from Quiet Meadows. And I'll show you the stamp set, or Quiet Meadow. And it comes with all the dies right there. Oh, sorry, I guess this piece came with the set, not the Pansy Patch. And then we're gonna add our butterfly. So all these pieces that I cut out are from the watercolor paper. and we're gonna color those in just a minute. And we're gonna add our butterfly here, and the butterfly punch is retiring. So if that's something that you really like, I suggest you get on it and order it. So there we go. I'm just gonna punch out the pieces here. Make sure all your pieces are punched out when you get your kit. And now we can start coloring our flowers. I'm gonna bring in a sheet here, because it can get a little messy, and you can use any color you want to do your flowers. I decided to use the in colors just because they're new, and I thought, hey, why not? So I'm gonna do, I used 2 different greens, and I sort of just rotated them. So I'm gonna use the soft succulent, and I'm just gonna give my ink pad a little squeeze to put some ink onto the lid. And then we're gonna open that up, grab one of our pens here, and we're gonna pull up some of that ink, and we're just gonna add it to the leafy part here. And again, you don't have to worry about being perfect. You're just getting some color on there. You can always add more later. Okay. So there's one. And just add a little more color here. And maybe I'll come back and add a little more later. And then I'm going to do the same for this piece. And you can always keep adding color to your pieces until you have it just right. So you don't have to do it all in one go. You can just, and now I'm going to use a different green for the other 2. I think I'm going to try this Evening Evergreen. For my sample, I used Old Olive, but we'll see what this darker color looks like. I don't know. It might be a little too dark, but we'll see. I hope my head is not in the way. looking pretty good, I think. So I mean, I don't know if you can sort of see the different contrasts. I think I may have added a little too much water to that. Okay, so there's our green. Now I'm going to sort of clean off the color on my brush, and we're going to use one of the colors. So I'm going to use the purple, which isn't really purple, it's fresh freesia. I think that's how it's called. Okay, so let's do that on here. And now I'm going to use the polished pink. And I always give a press on the lid just to get some ink up onto there so that I can use it. Remember, when you're watercoloring, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's probably better when it isn't perfect. Whoops. So there's my pink one, and then I'm going to do this one pink as well. So there's our other piece there, and then our final piece, we're going to use the papaya. And I'm just going to, this is how I clean my painter. And let's get some color on there. What you can do if you want and didn't want to squeeze your ink pad like that, you could use just some re-inker and just put like a dot or two onto the cover and do it that way. Sometimes I cheat and I sort of take it off this sides like that. It doesn't always work as well though. I'm just going to do a little bit more color. let these pieces dry a little. And I'm going to stick my rhinestones on this piece here. So this piece, here we'll move it so that you can see it a little better. So this piece has 3 flowers, and I'm just going to put the rhinestones on this piece here. These are the champagne rhinestones. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our Tombow glue. Let's bring our card back. We're going to put some glue on there. And we are just going to stick that in there. And if you want to know where it should end, it shouldn't go past this part, because then if it does, then you've gone too far and it's not going to fit your standard size envelope. So just make sure you don't go that far. This piece is the one that sticks out the most. So what I did for my card is I actually cut a little piece of it off. So we're just going to trim a little piece of it off. Remember, you don't want it to go too high. So as you can tell, I didn't even trim enough of it off. There's a little piece sticking out at the bottom. And then we have our last piece. Oh, my dogs are about to go all nuts. This last piece needs a little bit of trimming as well. Let's see if we can finish this card without my dogs flipping out. And there's our final piece. So we are all done. Isn't that pretty? So again, it doesn't really matter what DSP you use. And again, there's 2 different styles. You can either just score the middle, or you can trim off some of your piece and cut it in half. But I'll write all the measurements in the description of the video. Again, thanks for joining me. Have an awesome Wednesday, and I will see you again soon.